Welcome to Civilization 4 Rise and Falls of Civilization. Today I'm playing as the Japanese, going for a historical victory. Now, this involves, for Japan, no foreign culture in any plot on the Japanese main island in 1650 AD, being the first in score in 1930 AD, and being the first to complete the tech tree. Now this is going to mean that this is going to be a long playthrough, which is why I've sped it up to 3 times the speed, so apologies if that's way too fast for you to comprehend what's going on. Starting here with Kyoto and Edo, and just working to ensure that I had strengthened up those 2 cities in order to go aground on mainland China. Also at the same time, just going for those quick and easy technologies, and converting to Taoism as bit of a conformity to China, which was fortunate. Not that China will like me for very long once I invade. Generally with Japanese playthrough, I'll start off with 3 cities in on the main island of Japan. I won't settle that north area of the island until much later in the game. Now, those 2 plots to the north of Kyoto with the iron and copper are very important for Japan's production, because they'll get you a lot of hammers, and that will allow you to really drive the attack into China. You can see the city in Korea has just appeared there. It's also very important to grab that early on. Here I've got myself a galley already, ready to grab it because the city is unprotected early on, and I've got open borders with China, so I can sort of sail right in there. Good idea also to grab calendar early on to make use of that silk and incense that Japan's got on the main island. And here I'm already starting to load up troops, and they'll start pumping into Korea there, ready to mount an invasion on China. Mostly going for swords and catapults in this invasion. It's a good idea to have a few spearmen and axemen as well. And I was fortunate here because China was really trying to get that silk. So they've gathered 3 workers there, which I managed to steal, as you'll see in a moment. Oh, there's 4 workers now. There we go. That's a swordsman going up there to scout the nearest city, just to check that it's not strong enough to defend. There you go, you can see now that I've declared war on China. And I've grabbed all 4 of his workers there on that plot of silk, and now I will proceed to march my troops into the north. I've got a trireme between Japan and Korea, which will help stop the Chinese from hitting my galley and my fishing ships. In fact, I've got 2 triremes there now. And I'll focus all my power on grabbing these cities as soon as I can. I've got stack attack on, but I'm not a fan of using it because it's very easy to lose enormous amounts of troops, even if you have a good chance of winning, just by being careless. You can see here I'm pulling some workers out of Korea back onto the Chinese mainland. Back onto the Japanese mainland. The first city has fallen, and the next city along will be Beijing, which will be China's capital city, and taking out that will very much bolster my my likelihood of winning the war with China, because China will become very unstable as soon as that city goes. Building up a little fleet of triremes there to scout out what China's got. And I found out that he actually had some catapults coming along, unprotected. You can see I'm consistently pushing troops in through Korea, and China is unable to counter my attack just because I've got so many troops stacked on top of Dairen. As my army is taking hit from some catapults, but not to worry. Collateral damage was negligible. China's having a go at my triremes just there. And Beijing has fallen. And you can see that China is now on an unstable band. But it will still be a while yet, not necessarily, it's not necessarily going to fall straight away. I was looking to sue for peace there, and I was thinking about it, because I could demand something like, there you go, I just sued for peace, to grab some technologies, which I thought was worthwhile, since he would probably collapse soon. Not necessarily, but possibly. And if worse come to worse, if he didn't collapse, I could always just declare war on him again in 10 turns. I doubted that he would get enough military force to counter my army in 10 turns, so I thought it was a worthwhile gamble. There's the Japanese there. I mean, it's the Indians there. Seeing if I could trade some technologies, but I don't think I did, because a lot of the civilization, the latest patch of Rise and Falls of Civilization, just give you ridiculous, unfair trades for technology. They just demand enormous amounts, so it's just not worth it. Now, invading China does take quite a hit to your economy, and you can see I'm building courthouses and things around now. Fortunately, Japan is still quite stable. And you can see China has settled another city to the north, which is maybe a little bit of a worry, but not much. And here I've declared war on China again. Moving down troops into the south to find a city that wasn't particularly defended. You can see I'm using my great engineers to build wonders in Kyoto, such as the Leaning Tower. That's because, or you can see I'm sort of looking more at building wonders and to help my cities along a bit, rather than focusing on building troops now, since I've just got a very large army there. Wasn't the best decision sending troops back to attack those axemen there, but it worked out okay. China doing everything they can. I've lost a galley there, that was just from negligence from me. Getting a bit weary at this rate, wondering if perhaps my invasion isn't quite going as planned, but then my catapults were very successful in the attack of this city, as you can see. And I realize now, at this point, it's a good idea to send troops down the coast of China there and secure the cities rather than taking the inland cities of China, just because I can more easily send troops to defend those cities. Now at this point I've researched feudalism, which means that I can now get longbows which will effectively defend my cities. And that's what I had been going for quite some time, up until this point. Beijing and this other city, which I have taken on the coast of China, are also two very important cities in this gameplay, at least because they're the founding cities of Confucianism and Taoism, and therefore they're big stakeholders in the money that will bolster my economy. knocking out defences, and there I've lost another galley. Very annoying. But not crucial. Just more negligence on my part. China, I imagine, is getting very unstable at this point. Properly defending those galleys at this time. You can see I've sent those triremes on top to make sure nothing happens, but China's lost all its coastal cities now, so it shouldn't be sending any more ships at me. You can see I'm not rushing to take these cities, but there's another one down from the mainland. China seems to be down to maybe 3 cities left. And there you can see China has collapsed, as was my goal. And now my aim will be to maybe pick up some more of these independent cities. And controlling China gives a very stable base in a Japanese playthrough for getting the score and the technology that you need. You can already see that my research is moving very quickly. Mind you, my economy to support the research is not necessarily very good, so that's something that I would be looking to improve in the next few hundred years. Great merchant there. You can see that I did not use him, I just put him to sleep on Kyoto, and that is because I intend to use him to found a corporation much later on. Something that I do in a lot of my gameplays. And I decided that I wouldn't take any cities that were further north than that. That is the end of the first part of Japan.